Hi parents, Mr. Patrick, the ELC South Librarian here. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps of checking out an ebook or an audiobook for your student. The good news is that whether you're a face-to-face learner, a remote learner, your home campus is the ELC South or somewhere else, it doesn't matter. These instructions should be the same for everybody. So this will get you to the SORA app, and we'll be going through how to use that app to find ebooks and audiobooks for your students so that they can have some books to use digitally if they're interested and you're interested in using the technology that's available and what we have available to offer through Keller ISD. So with that understood, let's get started. Okay, parents, so the first step in this process is getting to the KCloud site. So I know some of you are using like the district handed out iPads, or maybe you're using a laptop or a Chromebook or a different tablet, or maybe you're using an iPhone or another type of a Google Droid phone, something like that. So these may look a little bit different, but the steps are still going to be the same. We need you to get to KCloud, and you should be pretty familiar with this at this point, I hope, especially if you're a remote learner. KCloud is going to get you access to everything that you need that the district provides. So the username is going to be your student's ID number. The password is Keller. So we're going to give you a second to get to KCloud and sign in as your student, and then we'll move forward. So I'll give you just a second for that. Okay, so once you've logged into KCloud, it should look something like this. This may not be exactly what yours looks like. I'm currently signed in as my son so that you can see the student view. So it should look something like this. It might not be exactly this, but this will give you kind of an idea. It doesn't really matter what else is on here. What you're really looking for is this folder. My cursor's over it right now. It says library, find a book. That's what we're looking for. So you want to click on that folder, library, find a book, and it's going to bring you to a folder with some other icons on it. Again, you might not have all of these icons on yours. That's okay. We are only looking at one specific one that you definitely should have, and it is this SORA ebooks and audiobooks. So that's what we're going to follow through with. We're going to look at the SORA ebooks and audiobooks app. So if you have that in your folder, which everyone in Keller ISD should have, then that's what we're clicking on, and we're going to move forward from there. So find that icon, click on it, and we will move over to SORA. All right, parents, so hopefully when you clicked on the SORA app, it brought you to a page that looks like this. If for some reason your page is not the Keller ISD page to begin with, if you go over to the three little bars in the corner, you can click on Keller ISD under your libraries, and it will bring you to this page. Again, I'm signed in as my son just to give you the student view. Now, this is a generic KISD page, okay? So there are currently, like if you just start scrolling, there's a lot of different things here. We've got some new ebook editions. So this is going to have books that are age appropriate and books that are a little bit older, that kind of thing. It will narrow down what's available. Like our preschool students won't have access to the high school material books, that kind of thing, but they will have access to some of the elementary books. And so keep that in mind. It does, and with the SORA, it's going to have some other things available that aren't necessarily age appropriate for your students. So this is where the parent aspect of keeping an eye on what your student is doing and making sure that they're picking books that are appropriate for them. That's where this comes into play. So we've got the new editions here. You can search by popular subject. You can just click and see what's available here. If we keep scrolling down, we've got new editions, so you can see that we've really been working on adding to our Spanish audiobooks. So those are available. These are new books that are available. These are going to be chapter books and picture books and all sorts of different things. So some of those might be picture book appropriate for your students. Some of them are going to be Harry Potter. And so obviously your student's not at that reading level yet. So we can kind of skip over those. We've got the most popular books. Your next great read. So these are some good read books, but again, might not be age appropriate. Classics, again, not appropriate really. We've got the best reads for intermediate, best reads for elementary. Even these are probably elementary chapter books, so not great. The Battle of the Books list for elementary schools, intermediate schools. Here's where we're starting to get into some better things. So like here we've got the Keller ISD best reads for picture books. So this is definitely a section that you'd want to check out with your student. You can see all the books that are available there. We've got some high school stuff, some middle school stuff. So not everything is going to be perfect for your student when we're looking at these lists. That's okay. You can always do a search by subject, or you can go into the collections and do a search, or up in the top corner, there's a search for a book. So if you're looking for a specific book, you can search there. We're going to go back down to the best reads picture books. We're going to click on all 10 so that we can see them up close real quick. So there's some differences in the way some of these books work. So I've borrowed a couple of these books on my son's account just to kind of show you how they work and let you kind of see the differences between the different formatting styles. Some of the books you're just going to have to kind of play around with and see to decide if it's the kind of book that you're interested in for your student, okay? So let's get started. We'll start looking at some of the different options that are available for some of these books. All right, parents. So first, I've got a book set up and ready to go for us. This is Potato Pants. This is just a generic, run-of-the-mill, plain ebook. There's no bells and whistles that go along with it, but I want to kind of show you what it looks like. So we're going to click here. So first, it loads the book, and there's like the title page and that kind of stuff back here. We can kind of flip pages. So here's the title page. You can see the cover page, that kind of stuff. So this book is exactly what it is. It's an ebook. It's a book that's just been digitized. There's no bells and whistles of any kind. Your student's not, it doesn't read to your student. It's just there for you to read with your child, which is a perfectly acceptable format for this book, but it's not something that your child can do by themselves. It's going to be something that they're going to need some additional help. Somebody's going to need to be there to read with them what's happening in this book, because there's nothing that's going to do it for them. Okay, so that's the first type. The next type is like this book, Cool Beans. So this book is a little bit more interactive in that it gives us the option to have it narrated. So when we click the start narration button,
watch out! Here come the cool beans. The cool beans. Oh yeah, check out how they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses. Yow!
so as you can see, this start narration will actually turn the pages. It highlights the word that they're reading at the time that it's being read. So this is a little bit more interactive. It gives your student the option to see it being read when there's not someone there that can read with them, or just so they can do it on their own and they can follow along with what's being read as it's happening. So this is a little bit more high tech, and I like these books for our students a little bit better, but not every book gives us this option. So this is one that does, and so this is a very cool option that it will allow it to narrate for you. Now, you don't need the narration. You're welcome to keep your read with your child, and that's excellent also. But for those people that, for one reason or another, they can't at all the times, or if they just want to have someone else read it to them so that they can hear another voice reading it, any of those options, this is kind of a cool version of the book that allows for that. The last version, whoops, so you get achievements and stuff as you go through also. The last version of a book that would be available for our students is an audiobook. Now, the audiobooks are minimal also. So we've got Hair Love here, which is an excellent audiobook. And the thing about audiobooks is that it's not going through every picture of the book or anything like that. It's just being read to the student. So we'll give you an example of this here.
Escape presents Hair Love by Matthew A. Cherry, narrated by Blue Ivy Carter. My name is Zuri, and I have hair that has a mind of its own. It kinks, coils, and curls every which way. Daddy tells me it's beautiful. That makes me proud. I love that my hair lets me be me.
So as you can see, it just has the cover photo. So it's not flipping through the book. It's just the audiobook is the book being read. So there's no visual aspect to it other than the cover being shown. So for the opportunity to hear the story, this is an excellent choice. If your student wants to see the pictures that go with it, this is not going to be the option that you want to use. So there's plenty of different options available. Those three are going to be the ones that you're going to see most frequently in the SORA library, but I wanted to show you each version so that you could decide what would be best for you and for your student. And really, it might just depend on that particular situation, that particular day. So now that you kind of have an idea of how SORA works and how the different formatting of the books, some other things that you might want to know is, of course, up in the corner, you can do a search. So if we're looking for a Mo Willems Pigeon book, you can do a search and see, and it's telling us we don't have any right now. Okay. So I know we have some Pete the Cat books. So this brings up all the different Pete the Cat. You can see some of them, the headphones tell you it's an audiobook. Some of them are not, and they're just kind of the read-along books. So we've got lots of different Pete the Cat books available in different formatting. So you can do searches. You can refine your search by doing a couple of looking through and sorting by relevance and languages and different things like that. You can come over to your preferences and change some of your settings here, like your format. You can decide that you only want audiobooks or only want ebooks, or the any is both audio and ebooks. So you can do that, or maybe your home language is Spanish. So you can look for books in Spanish. Right now, it's automatically set to having any language. Know that most of our books are going to be in English, but we do have a couple that are in some different languages. It's just going to limit what pops up for you, and that's just because of how our collection is currently. We're working to improve it. Like I said, we're purchasing more books in Spanish as we speak, so we're working on that kind of stuff. You can look at your audience and say that you only want juvenile, which for our pre-K students, that is definitely not a bad idea at all, to just say that you want juvenile titles. So that's one option for you. And you can always go back to the Explorer, which brings you back here. If you go to the three bars at the top, this is basically like your profile. So right now, you're part of the Keller ISD Library Network, and that's fine. If you have a public library card, which I hope everybody does, but if you do have a public library card, Keller Library, Fort Worth Public Library, Watauga Library, any of those, you can add another library. And so you can put in the library name, the city, or the zip code. So Fort Worth Library. So even just by typing in Fort Worth, it brings up Fort Worth ISD, Fort Worth Christian, and Fort Worth Library. The Fort Worth Library is going to be the public library system. So if you click that, it brings you to the Fort Worth Library, and you have access now to lots of other books that are available. And so once you find a book that you want, this is where you need to put in your library card number and your password. Generally speaking, the password for your library card is the last 4 digits of your library card number. If that does not work for you, then you need to get in contact with the Fort Worth Public Libraries, and they can help you reset your password. But that's available also, which that would give you even more options for books that are available, and just in languages, in topics, in subjects. They've got a much larger budget, so they can purchase more ebooks. So this would just give you another option that would be available to you to get you some more books in that are available for your students. If you do a search for cat, it should bring up now everything from both libraries. So now the collection of Pete the Cat's books is even bigger because it's including everything from the Fort Worth Library and the Keller ISD Library. So that opens up a lot to you if you have that available. So we just wanted to kind of give you another option if you decide that you don't want that, or if you just want to look in a specific location, you can do that. If you want to remove that, you just click Edit and Trash Can. It basically says if you want to use the Fort Worth Library after this, you're just going to have to re-add it. So that's fine. And then it just leaves you with the Keller ISD. But this is a great resource to give your students some more books that they can access digitally. And when you're done with it, you just go to your shelf and go to Options, and you just return it, and it's done. And you can do that and check out books all day long. All right, everybody, good luck.